Well, hopefully now we'll go back to Spa and actually get a proper race out of it this time. You've got to be kidding me. Hey up lads, welcome back to the channel for yet another video. So, Qatar has been announced as part of the F1 calendar. It does seem that we are once again talking about racetracks and really poor decision making. So if you don't know what's going on, let me just fill in what's been happening in the world of Formula 1. So Formula 1 for the opening round of the season tends to start off in Melbourne, Australia. Unfortunately, the virus happened. So that race got cancelled last year, and for this year, it's been pushed back to the end of the year, so it's like one of the last races of the season. But like all things, plans do tend to fail, and Australia ended up getting cancelled. So that left a slot open for another Grand Prix or another circuit to fill its place. Now, after the farcical race that was the Belgian Grand Prix, which wasn't a race, by the way, everyone was hoping, was like, well, we didn't get a race there, maybe we could use that circuit to fill in this slot. But Formula 1 and the FIA being themselves couldn't do that. And instead we've ended up coming here. Qatar. Now, the layout of this circuit looks like a whole mixed kettle of fish. Another flat, pancake, cookie cutter racetrack. So why have people been getting a bit upset with the Formula 1 and FIA recently because of this decision? Well, it's for a few things. Because Twitter is a thing, you get to see everybody's opinions, whether you like them or not. And opinions in today's day and age is like your bottom. Everybody's got one, and for some reason everybody wants to show it off. But there is good reason, because for many years the Formula 1 calendar and the FIA race has been racing in these particular countries. The Saudi countries, Russia, China, countries in where there has been criticism for the way they treat their populations. Now, I just want to point out there is actually quite a bit of hypocrisy going on, not from the FIA or Formula 1, but the fans themselves. Up until the Jeddah race or the Saudi Arabia race was announced, nobody really seemed to care, because Bahrain was still happening, Abu Dhabi, China, Russia, countries that don't particularly treat their people very nicely, but for whatever reason people seem to be focusing on these two tracks that have just came out, so Jeddah and Qatar. Now, I know why people don't seem to mind Bahrain, is because Bahrain you get some decent racing, so the fans themselves throw human rights out the window then. But in fairness, nobody likes the Grand Prix of China or Russia, and in fairness, Abu Dhabi is just as bad. Now, this is where people have started getting a bit upset, is because Formula 1 and the FIA, to keep face with what's happening in the world, is forcing politics onto people with this "we race as one" crap. But here's the thing. They throw all of that out the window to go to these Saudi countries, because cash is king. So that's the political side of the whole thing, why people are upset. Now, moving on to the second reason why people are upset about Qatar. Now, this is the point in the video where you're probably expecting me to go and jump into the simulator and thrash an F1 car around the racetrack. Not quite. See, for although the racetrack that we're talking about was created in 2004, I think only 2 people have tried to have a go at making a simulated version of it, and they are both crap. So we're not even going to bother with that. But don't worry, this is a sim racing channel. We are going to be jumping into the simulator for another reason. So the circuit we're talking about is this one. And already we're getting into the problem of what people are very upset about, is its design. It was designed for MotoGP. So not cars, motorbikes. Now, it goes without saying that cars and motorbikes do race differently. I think that's fairly obvious. A car is much wider, you can defend a lot harder, and the car itself is much more difficult to get past. However, with a bike, you are this tiny, thin little thing on a very wide circuit, and you've got no way of defending. Well, you do, but it's just much more difficult. So that's why this layout is more suited for bikes, because the corners are very swooping, and bikes can pass on these kind of things. However, these swooping corners don't really bode well for regular cars. By the looks of things, there is only one pretty much guaranteed overtaking opportunity here, and that's at turn 6. Other than that, the track is as flat as a pancake. No elevation change whatsoever. It's out in the middle of the desert as well, so it is bland as could be. So why has the FIA and Formula 1 decided to race here of all places? There must be something good about it that we don't know. Surely they care about the racing. No. It's money, because why else would it be? Cash is king. What Formula 1 have done is taken all of their positive messaging, all of their desire to make good racing, and then throwing it in the bin. Because, ooh, FIA, we love a good paycheck, don't we? Now, one thing I should clear up right now is that I do not know for certain that this is going to be a terrible, terrible race. Because if we're looking at the track alone, Mugello theoretically should have been worse. And that turned out to be one of the best races of the season last year. So the thing we can do at the moment is just remain optimistic about this racetrack. There are other complaints as well, because the FIA are completely ignoring other racetracks in the world that are far, far better than this one. Speaking of which, one of the talking points about the Formula 1 calendar that gets brought up a lot of time is it's meant to be a world championship. Go to every single continent. And yes, that includes Africa. And many people have asked for the longest time, why the hell do we not go back to Kyalami? Kyalami used to be part of the F1 calendar. Many other motorsports race there today with the likes of GT3 cars, and it is a very, very popular racing venue. So why don't we go to Kyalami? Now, there are a lot of things to take into consideration, and hopefully we're going to cover most of those topics today, which is why we've came to Kyalami. Yes, of course, we are in the Formula Hybrid 2021 from Race Sim Studio, one of the finest mod makers in sim racing today, and we're going to have a 7-lap race around Kyalami and have a full-on Formula 1 race there. So let's just jump in and see what's what. Now, I'm using the McLaren wheel purely because there is a clutch pedal on the steering wheel itself. So let's see how we can set off. Oh, I get off really badly, but not as badly as everybody else, and we make a storming start. Now, I've just remembered that the AI don't like to play by the rules. Oh! As I just make up about 30 positions there. What is this, a Gamer Muscle video? Holy cow. Oh, there's a guy sending it on my inside that I've got. Oh, yeah, there is an indicator. I go very wide as I get pushed. Right, okay, we've got to knuckle down here. This is a flat-out corner. Don't Hamilton it into these guys. Is he going to send it? Is he going to send it? No, he's not, but I've got to go wide to give him the space, but he's gone. All right. Normally in a GT3 car, it's shift down here and coast it through that corner a little bit, but in this car, it is pretty much flat out with a very gentle lift. Right, keep it nice and clean. Short shift to keep the grip, and away we go. Use the DRS down the hill, because I don't think anybody's going to mind. Careful through this corner, though, because you can go spinny-rinny-rino through there. Just be very easy and gentle on the throttle. I am such a scaredy cat in these cars. Right, we're keeping pace with them. Oh. Right. Okay, that is 1 lap of Kyalami in an F1 car. So let's talk about one of the few things that you need to have on this track in order to make it viable for an F1 race. Chief among which is the FIA grading license. Now, Kyalami currently holds a Grade 2 FIA license. Oh my goodness, this guy is absolutely sending it. How dare he? So one of the things that Kyalami needs is a Grade 1 license, which Kyalami does not have. It has a Grade 2 license, and it's to do with safety, I think, or how a few corners have been jinked up. Get him back. There we go. And I can already see why the FIA is... Oh, goodness. Oh, that was scary. I can already see why the FIA have gone to Qatar. Because in order to have this track as a Grade 1, they'd have to do some altercations. And altercations to a racetrack costs money. And use of Herman Tilke, which isn't ideal. But as we've learned anything, the FIA do not like spending money. They like gaining money. Which is why they've went to Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Bahrain, Abu Dhabi, basically all the Saudi countries where they've got money, and they haven't lost any money. They've just gained money from going to those countries. Whereas if they came to South Africa, which admittedly, and not to be offensive, Africa isn't really known for its wealth. And therefore, we're going to Qatar and not here. Which, if you ask me, as the circuit currently stands, I think it's perfect. Now when it comes to track changes, I don't think it all needs all that much, but knowing the FIA, they probably want to add in like 7 miles of runoff area or something like that, or even add lots of camber to one of the corners and really spoil the track. I mean, look what they did with Zandvoort. They added like a climb to Mount Everest in some of the corners. It should go hand in hand as well that Kyalami is also a place of deep tragedy as well. It's not all colours and rainbows about this track. Probably the most famous example was Tom Price back in 1978, I think it was, when the track looked much different. What happened was a car had stopped on the side of the track and a marshal was running along across the road to help. Now the way that the start-finish straight was shaped back then, it was more or less like a hill or a crest. So Tom Price could not see this marshal running across the track. And when the marshal ran across the track, Tom Price sadly hit them. And it was absolutely, it was caught on camera and it was horrific. Absolutely horrific. The marshal got ripped in half. And the fire extinguisher, that the marshal was carrying hit Tom Price in the head and killed him. And it is genuinely disturbing. So if there was some people working at the FIA that was alive back then to see that, you could probably understand that there was some reluctance to come back to the circuit maybe. But that's just how I see it. But the main reason is that we haven't came back here is money, you know, which is a shame. The flow of this circuit is phenomenal. It is one of my favourite circuits. It's great for battling, it's great for following, it's great for overtaking, and it produces great racing. Now, I am going to be honest, a few corners could do with a bit of improvement. I think it's mainly down to some of the curbs. The curbs are very aggressive on some corners, and if you hit them, then obviously that's bye-bye you. You're going down, basically. And admittedly, some areas do have very little room for error. For example, this one. If you catch that inner curb in the wrong way, that's going to send you over the barriers. And one of the final corners on the circuit is also a very good example of that. I think it's the second to last corner that we're coming up on right now, actually, which I will show you. The inner curb on this corner is horrific. GT3 cars hit that all the time and they get sent into the shadow realm, as Steve from Super GT would say. Right, let's see if we can try and catch them up. Oh my goodness, I'm going to have to actually try against AI. What am I going to do? Shift down one gear, take it nice and smooth. Come on! I don't know how many laps we've got left. I had to lift off a bit there. I took it a very wide entry. Gentle lift. Take it very aggressively into that corner. Oh my goodness, we gained about a second there almost. Push, Corey, push, as Jody would say. We're catching up now, using some of that battery. I've got my thumb hard pressed on that battery button for some extra deploy. I'm pretty slow through here. But it's flat through this corner, but you've got to get it right. Right, there they are. Oh my goodness, 2 seconds gained on that lap. That was incredible. What a good lap that was. Come on, let's catch them and have a bit of a fight. Shift down one gear. Fourth gear is the optimum gear for that corner, it seems. Absolutely flying now. I'm so glad that there's actually a decent mod of Kyalami, because this is such a splendid circuit. I don't think it's anybody's favourite, that's the problem. So no one's going to go absolutely nuts over it. But I tell you, the day that Formula 1 or the FIA announces that they're coming back to Kyalami, it'll be Christmas. It's what we want. Was that it? Was that... Ah, that was it! I didn't realise that was the last lap. Finished 6th overall. That was hell. I had to go through so many attempts because the AI kept crashing into me. And for... Oh! Pose a big challenge. Oh, no. Oh, come on. The AI are just ridiculous, man. The AI is going... Oh, my goodness, Oh, my goodness, they just crashed into me. Flat out through here again. Oh! Those... Oh! How many attempts do I need to have? As the circuit currently stands, I think it's perfect. Oh, for goodness sake, what is it with the flaming AI? Because back in 1970 something, I think it was. Oh, for good, what? How is this possible? What have I done wrong? What did I do wrong? But guys, that was a 7-lap race at Kyalami. And what do you guys think? Where do you think Formula 1 should go? Obviously, it's not going to be Qatar. As said earlier in the video, it is a track designed for motorbikes. But guys, do let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment in the description below. Believe me, I do read all comments, and I really appreciate your guys' feedback. So, what circuit would you like the FIA to consider? For me, obviously, it has to be this one. It's just a no-brainer. The racing would be so much better, and it would just work out a lot better for everybody involved. But, as we know, in Formula 1, cash is king, and that's the sad reality of it all. We're all races won until there's money involved. Which is why I think the whole we race as one thing is just stupid. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you've enjoyed this video, feel free to leave a like, and if you're new to this channel, hit that subscribe button. It would greatly help me out a lot, and I would greatly appreciate it. Not to mention, we are also affiliated with a few very, very lovely people that provide amazing sim racing equipment. You'll probably see them on the left-hand side of the screen there. Go and check them out, because they provide for me all of my gear and my sim racing merch, especially at IMB. Those lads are amazing. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you guys in the next race. Have a good night, everybody.